All right, we're here for the 2019 Fall Major. It's the Monday qualifying round in the rookie division. So this tournament, we need to be looking at our minimum score is minus 12. That's where we want to start off. So the way that I usually approach these tournaments is the first thing that I want to do is make sure that I have my goal number one, day number one is what am I using for the drive? What club? And some of these holes you may be using a wood, and some of them you're using a driver. But what club am I picking for that, and what ball am I going to bring to this hole, so that I can get into the perfect spot to give myself the opportunity to pick that next shot up. So today's goal is drive and ball. That's the goal. Most of these holes I've played these holes before, so I kind of have an idea of what I'm looking for. But I have a few club changes that I want to try out, especially with the rock on hole number 5. So today's goal is just to establish if we're what I always like to do when I come into these is I know that the minus 12 minimum score that we're looking for is not going to win this tournament. But you have to shoot the minus 12 and build on that minus 12, because if you come to hole number 1 and you shoot a par and you don't get the birdie, which is the minimum score we're looking for here, it doesn't matter whether you've got 5 and 8 locked down. If you can't achieve the minimum score, you're not going to be able to hold on to those points to get you ahead in the bracket. So you have to get to the point where you can shoot the minus 12 with your eyes closed. And then you're really focused on, you're trying to get into this spot and you're really focused on that drive to get into the cup to pick one up. But the birdie here, the minus 1, was never in question. So today's goal when we're practicing is to make sure that all of the clubs that I've picked for what I want to use for driver and all of the balls that I picked for the holes are the right ones. And then making sure that my secondary club, that I'm ending up in the spot that I want to end up in, and my secondary club is the right club for that spot. And they've made several changes with the buffs that they've given clubs here recently. And one of them is with adding on the extra distance on the rock. So if you have a maxed out rock, which I know everybody doesn't have, and it's a rare that takes a while to max out, but I worked super diligently to get my rock maxed out, and then they gave it 5 more yards. So I couldn't be more excited. It only hits 5 yards less than an extra mile, and it's 100% accurate. That's awesome. But the other club that is going to change how a ton of people play is the Grizzly. In the past, we brought B52 or we brought Backbone for accuracy. Now we've got a 100% accurate long iron, rare long iron that's going to change how what clubs we bring. So I want to make sure that I've got everything the way that I want it. So let's talk about hole number 1. As the week goes on, this shot that comes down here, and there's 2 ways to get down in this hole. You can hit through these trees. There is a little bit of a path, or you can try and bring it around the corner. Both of these shots, especially if you have lower developed clubs, this bringing it around the corner to get, because you need to get down in there. What happens a lot of times is you can get around the corner and you'll end up right here and this tree's in the way, and then it just complicates that where you have to kind of curl the shot around in order to get it to the green. You really need to be out here by the shadow, so you got a straight in shot. The thing about hitting through the trees here, I will never demo this, because if you end up over here in the sand, you're in trouble. You may be able to bounce off this depending on your club, and you may be able to get on. You can get on from here with an overpower shot with a Malibu. There are spots that you could get in trouble here where you can get on, but if you end up in these trees this early in this hole, you're sunk. And there's no way that I'm going to shoot my shot and try and go through the trees. If the green was right here, maybe. But there's no way this early in the shot I'm going to shoot through the trees. And I know that shot's demoed out there, but I'm not interested in doing that. I really don't like this lower area. In one-on-one play, depending on how the wind's blowing, a lot of times I will use this lower area, because this is one of those holes I want to get on, get my birdie, and go to the shootout. And this is a safer play down here. But in tournament play, our goal is to get up into this area right here where I'm in my short iron range. Now, this account doesn't have a huge collection of 4 and 5 power balls, but if you had the right movement on it, so if we look at where the tee box is, You know, here's the tee box. So when we're running out into this area, we're trying to get to here. So if we draw the straight line, you know, getting the ball to move a little bit in this direction. So in order to achieve that, I'm going to aim this way so that my first bounce is in this area, and then the ball is actually coming off the tee, moving like this, so that I can give myself enough room over here for that curl to develop. If you bring a bigger power ball, you need your ball. If you bring a bigger power ball, your whole goal is to try and get up here in this shadow. Because right here is the start of your short iron. And you can actually, if you get up in here, you may be able to get into your maximum wedge. But the only way that you're going to get around this corner and make this turn is to move your ball further to the right and give yourself more room over here on the left, so that when the ball bounces, it has room for that curl to develop and really pull you out into that area. But since I don't have a large collection of 4 power and 5 power balls in this account, I'm going to just go at it with a 3 power ball. And I do have a few 4 power balls, and in the weekend round I may use them, but I'm only going to use them if I'm willing to expend 4 power balls in my main account, which I do have 4 power balls in that account. Because you don't want to go into the weekend round on a hole like this. It's one thing when you're in the weekend round to come out here and go, hey, I'm taking the wind out. I'm not using the wind on this shot, and I'm going to go ahead and use a low wind ball. And you can still make that work. But when you come out to a hole and you've been hitting it with a power 3 ball all week, and then you switch to a power 4 or a power 5, you have no idea. You have no idea how far you have to pull it out here to the right in order to get it to go to the left. You have no idea how far it's going to bleed out, whether you're hitting it too far, you need to take topspin off. And so basically, if you switch from a 3 power ball on the qualifying and the open round, and then the weekend round you bring out a 4 or a 5 power ball, you're basically back to Monday's practice round. And so I will try and practice with a 4 or 5 power ball, or at least take the shot a few times, so that I can see if it's worth the expenditure of the ball. Because really that's what it boils down to. There's no sense in bringing a 4 or 5 power ball if you're not going to gain an edge. If it takes you from your short iron to your wedge, it's probably worth switching to a 4 or 5 power ball. But if it's going to still put you in your short iron, it may not be worth it. All right, let's go pick a bag. I know that this hole shoots better with a big topper. Anytime you're doing forward distance, when there's no obstruction, you'll gain more with a big topper than you will with an extra mile. I'm going to take my Saturn and my Hornet. Now I'm taking the Saturn because there is a backboard here, and it gives me a little bit better backspin option if I'm using that. Yeah, let's commit to using a Grizzly. We can still get it done with the Grizzly. It has there's enough backboard on there that we can get it done, but we'll try it out. I'm definitely going to bring a Titan. And I have 2 of those 4 power balls, and that's it. And I have 2 Berserkers. So I do have something I could pop out in a weekend round, but for the most part, I'm just going to be using the balls that we can buy in the store. All things being even, the only thing I should need is a big topper and a Hornet and a Titan. The king of balls. This tournament is brought to you by Titan. There's 1, 2, 3 holes for sure that you could use a Titan, and you could use a Titan on more, but there's definitely a lot of holes. All right, let's go. Let's get her done. Let's see if we can hit perfect all day, every shot. Get in the hole. I came out with my low level account this morning and played, and I shot a minus 14. I picked up 5 and 8 relatively easily. I was surprised at how easy it was, because those holes are finicky. My opponent's in a nice spot. They're in this, you can see the difference in color here. They should be right past the tree. And you need to be at least 400 yards down there. And depending on your angle, the closer you are to the trees, the farther you have to be. So it's going to move it about 2 rings. It's going to go on my orange ring up there. Hitting it perfect. See how much distance we can get. We're out a little bit farther from the trees. And it's going to be right on the line whether we're in short iron. Where my opponent's at, they're definitely in their short iron range. But where I'm at, it may be right on my red line may be real close. And I'm going to do a 10% wind adjustment. And my Hornet hits 111922. 11 at max, 19 at mid, 22 at minimum. And I'm going to be at max. There's just no two ways around it. So close. All right, 10% wind adjustment. First thing, where are we at in my club? So I'm right at max home club. Okay, that's 3-2. That'll be 3-5. That's 3-3. So we're just a smidget over 3 rings. Gonna hit it great to the left. That was great to the left. This hole is the kind of catch-22. You have a serious shot of getting an eagle here, but it's a tough eagle to get. You have to be in the right spot and have the right club and make really good wind adjustments. And even then, this hole just seems like it's just super, it just doesn't want to give it up. It's nice when we start with these hard eagles. I mean, if you get an eagle on this hole to start your round, boy, that is a huge morale boost. Oh, sorry about that. Oh, that felt so good. Oh. All right. Oh, forfeit. Do not want to waste any of my hole-in-ones this week on shootouts. In my lower level account, I tried that hole right there just because I'm coming out with clubs that I've never played those holes before with those low-level clubs. And they're fairly tricky. All right. That was hole number 1. But typically, I don't play those shootouts during tournament week. Every week, one of my teammates goes, "Oh, I shot a hole-in-one during a shootout," and that just makes me sick. It's such a bummer when you get a hole-in-one in a shootout. I mean, because when you're here, you're setting those shots up. You've got an idea of what you're going to do, and it's like you burned a hole-in-one. It's like you gave one away. All right, that was hole number 1 of the 2019 Fall Major. Thanks for watching.